Yo, what up? It's your boy Zai. You already know I told you that I had an interview coming with Malone. Hey, man, I don't really. I'm so nervous at this because it's like I don't really do interviews.
Shit,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't really do interviews. And then when I found out I said Malone, I said, what? I was like, man, I definitely got to get that interview. But before I even get into what I want to talk about, man, tell everybody what you've been doing.
Man, really, I just been doing a lot of homework. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Studying this shit I've been involved with. You know, not just leaning on my gifts, not just leaning on my, you know, what I was blessed with, but everything I could be. So I've been in a cold cocoon, dog, just getting it together to make sure I finish this game better than I started it.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's the one thing I think people fail to realize is like when you do music, when they don't see you in the spotlight, they don't understand that you still on the side getting that money. Like I know a few artists that do the same thing.
Well, what worked out for me is like when I first got into business, you know, 2006 to 2012 before I started studying, I was making a lot of money. Like I was working, you know what I mean? Like Birdman, Mac 10, they did really good by me, you know what I'm saying? And I made a lot of money. So when 2011, 2012 came around and it was like, you know, do I shift the gear?
Yeah.
You know, do I go from third to fourth gear? Like I had to learn a lot to do it. So I had enough money saved up to kind of go, you know, 7-8 years without putting out a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? And to take care of myself. I ain't got no grip of kids, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't nothing. I had bought property and I did different things. So I was all right.
You know, I don't want to jump into the past because I know there's a lot of controversy over this, but I really want to get into that video that you made pretty much with Baby Lane and like, you know, doing the whole
Tupac Must Die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny because like that's when I knew I had it figured out.
Yeah.
So from like 2011, 12 to 2018, 19, like I was just studying. You know what I mean? I was studying what records were. You know what I mean? You hear a lot of niggas in the music business use the term record. And they not talking about every song. They talking about a specific type of song. So learning what records was. And then I started learning what hip hop was. You know what I'm saying? And then I started learning about marketing. Yeah. And it just took a lot of time. It took 7 years, you know what I mean, to really have like a skeleton type of understanding of this business. You know what I'm saying? So Tupac Must Die became like my test, like my finals test. If I was in college, this became my finals, you know what I mean, to get my degree. And I knew making it, I knew it would like fuck some people up because people naturally react. They don't really digest shit. You know what I mean? You done been in this shit a little, you know, you done been in this shit a little while, you know what I mean? Enough to know that people gonna jump to conclusions, but that's what make hip hop special. So understanding the culture and music and records, that kind of came out of it. Like I put myself in a position with the public to where they could really respect my opinion on a topic. And so just breaking it down and explaining, you know, street urban culture in Los Angeles. Yeah. You know, how we see things. If you jump on somebody morally, we like niggas expect somebody to come back busting. Yeah. And I knew that would be a hard pill for everybody to swallow, but it was still information that the game needed.
See, I'm telling you, when I first seen the video, I had like, all your other music that I was paying attention to, I was like, you had like that voice, like, so it automatically command attention. Usually, you know, you got cats that rap, even when I've dabbled in it, like my voice is not there. But when you rap and being a legend on the West Coast, people pay attention. So when you drop that, I already knew, like I seen cats jump on it. There's some, you had a gang of fools that, you know, they from the city. So they like, oh yeah, you know, Pac, you know, but then you had the Apocalypse that was like, oh man, like he really getting on, but they didn't really see the story.
To me, it was more about them not understanding me explaining us and being more offended for Pac. And it was like, my song was never a disrespect to Pac. Even the title was to me hella Shakespearean. It wasn't like, if a nigga jumped on you, you're not gonna be like, this nigga must die. That's not how he would talk. So I thought it was really, you know, sophisticated at that point. But, you know, again, like, I know the business we in, you know what I'm saying? I know the business we in as entertainers, and we applying a lot of real life shit to it. So you just got to take the good with the bad.
Most definitely. Like, I know with that video, for the people that might be not as articulate, they didn't get it. You know, it's because even you had drama back in the days, like, between the West and the East.
Sure.
And then if a cat saw you bumping something that was from the East Coast and you from out here, they quick to want to get reckless with the mouth. So when I seen it, I already knew where you was coming from, because I like
Pac.
Pac.
You from the culture.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a Pac fan, but it's like,
it's normal.
Yeah, nothing you like said.
Yeah. But I mean, I wasn't mad. You need that as a gangster rapper.
Yeah.
Like, I help the LA Giants a lot, Player Ham's sons, with rapping, and I help them a lot with the business as far as marketing. They were like master MCs when we first started working together, but explaining to them how, people have to discover you and how much pressure you got to put on the general public to discover you, you know what I'm saying, is another thing. So, I've been in a real blessed situation, man. I've been able to open the door for myself in this business 3 times when they tried to shut the door. Because the thing is, when you really from the streets like we is, bro, like, they gonna shut the door on you. Quick. They don't want you. They like, bro, we can't cheat you. We can't steal from you. We can't, like, you see what's going on with Puff and all this crazy shit, and I don't believe half of this shit, but it's like, let's say it's real.
Yeah.
They can't do that to people like us. They can't just come in there and be like, hey, you gotta suck a dick if you want to make. It's like, that'll get them fucked over, you know what I mean? So it's like, when you from the streets and you authentic, they try to shut the door on you, and you got to keep figuring out ways to open it and make them have to deal with you. So shout out to the Ice-T's and different people who really came from the life, but understood how to keep opening doors for themselves.
And speaking of Ice-T, man, like, you see his journey and where he's at now, and you still got some cats that be like, oh, well, he wasn't really, but he was out the West, right?
Yeah, and he was on some shit.
Yeah.
Like, his whole squad, him and his squad was on some shit. So, you look at people like Snoop, people like Ice-T, people like Eazy-E, people that come from where we come from. You know what I mean? They wasn't like, they really still the culture. You know what I mean? They ain't never turned their back on the culture. No. You know what I mean? They was very much whatever the Los Angeles streets make us, they was that the whole time. And
it was.
I talk about Dog a lot today because I really look at him and appreciate that he never allowed them to force him to make him be somebody else.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the business get forced to be somebody else. He stood his ground the whole time, and again, we looked up, we see him on the Super Bowl, and he wearing a blue bandana suit, and he crib walking, and he being himself, and the whole world accepting. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that much about Southern California street urban culture. We kind of stand our ground, and shout out to all them people who did that.
It's funny you say that, because like with Snoop came with like a style that was just like, I don't know, it was like reminiscence of like that old, like that pimp days. Like, there's not one Snoop album that I couldn't like listen to and be like, oh, that's like, he always had some type of vibe that was like, either you felt good, you felt like drink, you felt something.
Sure.
Listen to Snoop.
He definitely make you remember that this shit is a party and we live in a life that, there's a lot of other rappers who make you reflect on all of the bullshit. Snoop is really good at making you remember what you love about Southern California. You know what I mean? The West in general. And
the West Coast itself, like, it's always had its own little realm. And I won't lie, like, I was watching one of your interviews, and it was like you was really on fool's head that be. And at first I was like, ooh, shit, because I be, I didn't dabble in beats that be like from like, and I'll get like demented with it. Yeah. And then you were like on fool's heads about it, and I thought about it. They're like, somebody I was gonna bring into the interview, he's like, man, he ain't really with that music from nowhere else. And I was like, well, that's a part. Like, I can't refuse to interview you, or for one, I'm not mad at what you said. Sure. Like, it's an opinion, and I find truth in it. Like, Cass is doing drill and ain't from Chicago. It's like what are you doing? Or Cass do different certain type of music and they're from here. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, my first hit record was made by DJ Tump.
Yeah.
In Atlanta. It sounded like an Atlanta song.
ATL.
Akon was on the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, I'm not the person, I don't have a disdain for Southern music or Midwest music. Like, I grew up listening to, you know what I mean, Outkast. I grew up listening to Ghetto Boys, to Twister and Do or Die and Bone and in the East, everything else. But one thing I've learned traveling this world, not this country, but this world, bro, they want us. When they, you know what I'm saying, when they be talking about LA shit, bro, they want us.
Yeah.
They don't want nothing else.
Nothing.
And so I tell all of the young homies that's coming up under me, and I know them, and I'm like, bro, trust me, they want us. They don't even want them. Matter of fact, them niggas want to be us. Mm. Them niggas is Crips and Bloods. They want to be us. Them niggas, you go to Japan, is Crips, Bloods, Lowriders, SAs, and it ain't a Mexican or a brother in sight.
Yeah.
They want us. So I try to make sure I spread the message with the homies like, bro, don't get it confused. Like, the West is classic. Yeah, some people look at it like it's, they're like, oh, man, it's old. And it's like, it's a difference between old and classic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Motherfuckers love Teslas.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers love 8-Series Beamers, the new ones. Mm-hmm. But ain't nothing like a 4.
I'm telling you.
You get a Rag 57 or Rag 58 Impala is worth more than a Bentley right now. It's a classic, and that's our culture. Our culture out the West is classic.
It is.
And they going to want us everywhere we go. So don't be nobody else. They going to get mad when they realize you playing with them, and they'll shut the door on your ass. So, again, it's all about making sure that I watch the next generation of West Coast artists keep walking in the door and doing well for themselves and putting on for their communities and making sure they homies make a living.
Hell yeah. I felt that. Like, when, like I said, like other prior interviews, like I've delved into them and seen where you went with different things, and I could respect that. For one, if it was just a regular cat that ain't did nothing, I don't care if you're OG, whatever, like, your opinion is irrelevant to me.
Facts.
But the simple fact that you've been there and done that, and a West Coast legend, like, these young cats, they may not know that name as much, but anybody from the West that, from like your mid-20s up to like, you mentioned Glass Malone, them, like, when I mentioned your name, I didn't even have to say your name. Just that one picture I put on my IG, you had people from Washington all over, like, oh, you know what I mean? They was really like focused. I say, yeah, you know what's up.
I be trying to put on for all of us, man, and I really be trying to bless everybody with the information that I went and bust my ass for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got lumps on my head from getting it wrong, and I'm like, look, you don't got to get it wrong, bro. So it's a lot of people that, you know what I mean? You don't got to make the same mistake. We didn't have nobody. There was nobody telling us shit. You know what I mean? We first came, me, Nipsey, J-Rock, we all put out our CD. We didn't have no legends or no niggas that was doing the business telling us. It was just us. We had to tell. We had each other. You feel me? So we gave each other advice, and we went through a lot of shit. You look at Nip career, people forget Nip put out his first CD, Slauson Boy Volume 1 in 2005. Victory Lap is 2018.
I heard that shit when I was already busted. Not Victory Lap, but his other ones, his other mix CDs.
But think about this: his first studio album, 13 years after his first mixtape. You know what I'm saying? So nobody know. J-Rock, same thing. J-Rock, nobody knows what we went through to trailblaze a lot of the stuff when Legends wasn't really, teaching us at that time. Versus now, where it's easy for me to get Snoop on the phone. It's easy for me to get Ice-T on the phone. It's easy for me to get Dre on the phone. It's easy for me to get, maybe not Q, but I could DM him a question or get Quick. At that time we didn't have that. You know what I mean? It was just us. They was like, you niggas is too street and we not fucking with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the next generation, we able to be there for them. And I'm able to tell them in interviews or when I see them in person, hey man, like that's probably not the best way to do that.
Yeah.
And I never get tired of making sure, I don't try to overgive my opinion, but I never get tired of trying to help the next generation of dudes. Like if I see Reason from TDE doing some crazy shit, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Roddy, that probably ain't the way. You know what I mean? Hey, check this out. So we just keep trying to share the knowledge. Shout out to DJ Head and all the niggas that came in the business. We came in together, so we try to share the knowledge.